Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's play some Don't Starve, shall we? Doing a complete beginner's guide. And in this guide, what we're going to do is fire up a brand new game and just start from the very beginning, and I'm going to describe my thought process, explain the very basics of the game in terms of the UI, the controls, some survival tips and tricks, and just give you a feel for what happens during the first bit of the game so that you can get into Don't Starve and enjoy it on your own. Now, I'm not going to spoil the game. I'm not going to min-max, tell you the fastest route to survive, the best possible thing you should be doing at all times, optimizing this and that, but rather just give you the fundamentals so that you can understand how the game works and then play it the way you want to play it, and also not spoil any of the surprises or the mysteries that the game presents to you as you progress. So let's go ahead and begin now. Now, we're going to start a new file, and I'm going to tell you that we're going to be playing on vanilla, and I'm playing on the PC using a controller. I'm doing this because Don't Starve is now out for basically every platform, so many people will be using a controller to play it. I like to use a controller, so the key bindings will reflect that. And we are going to be playing with no mods, no DLC, and we're going to start right away. Now, we're going to use the only character that you get when you begin the game, which is Maxwell. So, when you start, the world is procedurally generated for you. And what that means is your world will look different than mine. You will not get the same world that I have. Say, pal, you don't look so good. You'd better find something to eat before night comes. Now, that's good advice. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is push right trigger. So, using a controller, if you push right trigger, it opens up this bottom bar on the heads-up display, or HUD, and these are the items of your inventory. Now, we have nothing. The game starts you with absolutely zero, and all of these boxes over here, the 15 that we have empty, are inventory, and then there's 3 on the right, which is head slot, body armor slot, and what you currently have equipped. Now, the reason I'm pushing right trigger is because this allows you to, with the left stick, slide between these different items to pick them up, move them around, interact with them to a degree, but most importantly, it pauses the game, because as Don't Starve is happening, time is moving the entire time, and it is vital to pay attention to the time because it's a key component of the game. So pausing it allows us at any time to really take stock of what's going on and make good decisions and read the screen, read our items. So I really want to point out this because it's wonderful to just be able to look at the item, read it, look at the screen without being attacked or without time passing. Now, in the upper right of the screen, as I was mentioning with time, you will see that there is a hour dial that shows you the different quadrants of the day. So the time is split up into 3 main categories. The yellow section, which is half of that circle, where it says day 1. You always start out on day 1, obviously, and not necessarily the goal, but one of the things you're doing in Don't Starve is just seeing how long you can make it. And the game does get progressively more difficult with certain events and things the further out you go day-wise. And we'll talk about that as it comes up. So that yellow half circle is daylight. That's when you can see everything easily because the sun is out, and when you're going to be doing most of your work. Now, the next little section, if we're moving clockwise, the red section of the clock up there is dusk. And this is kind of, your character will tell you, hey, it's getting dark, it's going to be nighttime soon. It becomes harder to see, and enemy behavior of things starts to change in the game. For example, there are some things that happen only at night or only in the day. And that being said, I made the mistake when I first started playing of not doing anything in the dusk because I thought it was dangerous. It may be more dangerous than the daytime, but you are not going to be killed like you are at nighttime for wandering around without a torch. And in fact, you really need to be industrious if you want to survive and use as much of that time during the day and dusk as you possibly can to gather resources. And then the final smaller bit of that dial, the black bit, is when it's full-on nighttime and it's pitch black and you can't see. And if you are not near a light source or holding a light source, you will die. Something will kill you after a few moments of being in the nighttime without a light source. You do have a few seconds to like grab a torch or get close to a fire, but it's not a lot of time. So you really want to be mindful of that and pay attention to where you're at time-wise by looking at the upper right. And you can always push right trigger to pause it to kind of like find your torch in the inventory and get everything squared away. Now, the other little dials up there that you want to pay attention to are your the one that is yellow and is a stomach is your hunger. The orange brain that has a 200 is your sanity. And in the red, where the heart is, that is your health, where it says 150. So you obviously want all of those to be full, but the most important is health. If that goes to 0, you are dead. If your hunger goes to 0, you will start losing health at a rate of, I believe, 1.25 per second until you die or eat something. And sanity is, I'm not going to spoil everything, but as that goes, you don't instantly die when it reaches 0. But as it goes down and down and down, things are going to happen. You're going to start seeing things. The screen will become distorted, and dangerous figments of your imagination might manifest and start attacking you and just generally make your life terrible. So it's important to keep all of these up, and we're going to talk about things that do that as we go. Okay, so now that that's explained in terms of what we see on the screen, I'm going to unpause the game so that we can talk about what we need to be doing as we play. Now, normally you would just learn this by dying a whole bunch, which is what I did in the game. But the purpose of the guide is really to explain just the thinking and give you a sense of what you should be doing so that maybe you can survive a little bit longer and enjoy the game and then figure more stuff out through experience. Trial and error and death is the best way to learn in this game, and it's expected. Do not feel bad if you die. This is a game that is difficult, and you will die. Okay, so now when I'm moving around with the left stick, you could see that if I get close to something like this flower, I can inspect it, and he gives you like a little fun dialogue about it, and then you can pick it by pushing A, and then it goes into my inventory. And I'm picking these flowers. Now, picking flowers boosts your sanity if it's low by just a little bit. Now, these saplings, these trees, you can inspect it, and if you push A to gather it, you get some sticks. Here we go, here we go. And here's a tree. Now, I can inspect the tree, but I can't do anything with it because I don't have a tool, I don't have an axe to chop it down. What you really want to be doing is picking up pretty much everything that you see that's around, but you want to be focusing on sticks, grass, food, like these carrots are food. So you go over here. Now, I will also say on the left of the screen, you'll see that if I push left trigger, I open up this crafting menu where it tells you, okay, you want to make a tool, or you want to make a light source, or you want to make a survival bit like a trap, you want to do some science, you want to make weapons, or you want to make a hat. These are the different crafting categories, and you move with left and right on the left stick to get around on this, and if it's like the pickaxe or the axe, these are brown. I can't make it now because I'm missing some items. And these are gray because I need something is locking this. I need a science machine to be able to create these. So you can see what you can make and what ingredients you're missing. So for example, for the fire pit, I need logs and stones. For the trap, I need dry grass and sticks. And usually with these crafting survival games, the secret is to try and make everything, just see what it does, and then unlock the ability to make more stuff. Now, you can see time is passing, and I'm just collecting sticks from saplings, grass from these big tufts here. And I'm going to push right trigger to pause the game, because look at how fast time is moving. I'm going to look at some of this stuff here and inspect it. So there's a carrot, there's cut grass, there's seeds, there's twigs, and there's petals. So these are the items that we have so far. Now, what you can do at this, when you're in this part of the game, is you can like sort where the items appear in your inventory, and you can drop them by just pushing down on the directional pad. And you can push X to split the stack and move it around. Now, we don't need to do that really right now, but I do want to tell you that the items in our inventory here that are green are edible, and like we could eat carrots, we could eat seeds, and we could eat these petals. Items that you can consume have different effects, and they have different levels of hunger points that they restore. And usually when you prepare them and cook them, they provide more nutrition than if you just eat them raw. But in a pinch, you can eat anything. Now, it's important, and you'll learn this as you go, like what to eat and when. But eat carrots first. They are going to give you more hunger back than any of these other things. And seeds are used for farming, which we won't get into for quite a bit. And petals we can use to craft something. So we want to kind of save these for now. In fact, I could show you that down here in the dress, I can make a garland with 12 flower petals, which is a hat that you wear that soothes the loss of sanity. Now, you see how on the ground, as I move Maxwell around, this area of the ground, I'm just going to pause it as I talk about it, is a different color. It's like this yellowish color versus the green grass that I was just in. One of the important things to note as you play Don't Starve is that there are different biomes and areas, and these areas have different items to collect, different enemies or different creatures living in them. And as you go, you'll kind of figure out like what's available in each biome, but they're visually recognizable, and you will learn, to figure them out just on sight the more you play. But in this grassland area, you're going to find a lot of grass, but you also should find bunnies, for example, which are an excellent source of food for us. Whereas down here in this grassy area, we could find berry bushes, and then in this darker bit, you see how there's a forest. Okay, so this is, pretty nice area for us to get a forest. Now I'm going to pick up this grass. Now, this road right here, there are roads throughout the game, and you can push select to open up your map. And when you open your map, it shows you what you have explored. You can use right trigger and left trigger to zoom in, and this is as zoomed in as we can get. But on the map, it's very important to use this because you will clearly see the biomes, like the grassland, the kind of just meadow, the forested areas marked by the color of the ground. And you could see all the tufts of grass and the trees and the saplings. All of the resources that you can gather are marked here on the map. But this only marks what could spawn. But if you had, for example, picked that grass up or chopped that tree down, the map won't indicate that. The map will just be showing you like what was available and what will respawn over time. So when you take the grass and you just leave the short grass thing behind, that will eventually respawn And you will see that marked on your map that that's an area, but if you've harvested it, then you have to wait for it to respawn, and the map does not reflect that. You can rotate the map with R1, L1, or right and left bumper, and the game is paused while you are looking at the map. Now, when I move along the road, which you can see on the map, you move faster. So the roads are great for traveling because Maxwell will just run faster. Now, you see how on this grasslands here, we've gotten ourselves to a place where there's all these bunnies. And these bunnies are wonderful to eat. Oh, look at this. Flint. So we found some flint, which is terrific because we need this to craft a whole bunch of stuff. Now, you can also just pause the game by pushing start, by the way, which I just did. I hope that you could hear the game sounds, but when I was picking up some of those items, there was kind of like a gong sound or this kind of weird zonky musical chime that happens when you pick up certain items. And what that is telling you is that you now have the items to craft something from your recipe list. So when you hear that, you know, oh, I got something and now I can craft something. And you could then push left trigger with the game unpaused to go through what is available for you to craft and see if you can make something. So we got 2 flints, so what can we make? Well, let's check it out. We go up, 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 and we can make an axe and we can make a pickaxe. So we're going to make an axe right away. I'm just going to push A to build that. And I can't make a pickaxe because I need one more piece of flint. Okay, so let's talk about this. Once I crafted that axe, which I got to by pushing left trigger, then going to the top box where it had the tools icon, or the tools category for crafting, and then you could see that there was a picture of an axe that was fully illustrated because I had the required ingredients to make it. It took sticks and it took flint. And once I made it, I immediately equipped the axe because I didn't have anything in my hand slot. So that will happen like if you make a tool, you'll just automatically equip it if there's nothing in your hand. But let's say I don't want to equip it. By pushing right trigger, you can just push A and move it off to take it away, or you can come here to put it on. And I find this very useful if, like, enemies are coming and you need to equip a weapon or something. You could pause the game and just calmly find what you're looking for and equip it. So here you go. Or you want to put on your armor or something, you can do this. Now, we have the axe and we're holding it. You see an 100% on the axe, that is its durability. As in most crafting survival games, items have durability, and when you deplete the durability, it will break, and you will have to make a new one. So every time we use this axe, the durability will go down. All right, and just looking up in the upper right section, you see that my hunger is down to 113. That's not a problem. And it says it's getting late. He told me it's getting late. It'll be dark soon, because if you look at the time dial, I'm moving from the yellow day section into dusk. You see how the game is visibly getting a bit darker, and that's okay. I'm going to go over here to this tree, and now we can chop it down. So this action, chopping, which we're holding the A button to do, it takes a while to chop down the tree. It was not even available until we crafted the axe, and now we have it. Now, you see that my sanity is 198. When it is dusk or night, your sanity just depletes. That's just what happens because it's disturbing to be in the dark. Even if you have a light source, it just goes down. However, some light sources are beneficial, but the idea is that at dusk and at night, that sanity is going down. Now watch this. If I pick this flower, you see that my sanity is back to 200. So you heard that sound effect, sounded, I don't know, kind of like somebody jumping on like a jumping sound effect almost, I guess is the way I think about it. Or you saw the sanity wheels briefly turn green to indicate that it had gone up in response to picking that flower. So that's a nice thing that you can do to boost your sanity a little bit. Now I'm getting hungry and I'm going to eat something. Now you can't eat when the game is paused, but what you can do is select your carrot, when the game is paused and the right trigger, and then when you do this, you will be on the carrot, and you push right on the directional pad. You see the options. You push up to inspect, right to eat, and down to drop, and I eat it, and I went up to 119 satiety or hunger. So again, using right trigger can help save you time. Now, you can move between your items in your inventory freely while you're walking around by using the right analog stick. So, like, while you're moving with the left analog stick, you can use the right analog stick to move here, but it is passing time. And so I like to just do this if I'm worried about what's going on around me, or I just want to, be the most efficient with my time. I'm going to eat again, and I pick up these logs, this pine cone, and this log. So now I have some logs. What can I do with logs? Well, I need to think about crafting a light source, and I can make a campfire. So I can also make a torch. So I'm going to first just craft a torch and keep this on my inventory. You always want to have at least one torch with you because you can equip it and survive the night. You can walk around in the nighttime with a torch if you want. I usually prefer to be by a campfire and to build out a little base area for myself, but it's up to you. Now here's a berry bush. I'm going to pick it so we get a berry, and this is a rabbit hole. This is where the rabbit will come out of, and if we put a trap on that, we can capture the rabbit and then cook the rabbit once we have a fire pit for us to eat from, which is another reason I like to have a campfire. Now this beehive, you can get honey from it by breaking it, but as you would expect, if you hit a beehive with an axe, a bunch of angry bees are going to come out and try to kill you. Now it's getting very, very close to the night, so I'm going to run down here, and I'm going to look for the road, and here it is. And I'm going to build my campfire right on the road. So I'm going to go to crafting, and I'm going to go to campfire, and I'm going to say build, and I'm just going to put it right there. And it's going. And so we have a campfire, and once it becomes night, this campfire will be there for us to help us get through the night. Now, you see how, I'm going to pause it. A couple of things have happened. In the upper right, we're in the black portion of the dial, which is nighttime, and you see the game is incredibly dark. You also see that to the left of the night portion of the wheel, there is a smaller circle that has appeared. That is the moon phase. So right now, it's like a new moon. There is no moon. If it's a full moon, you can actually walk around in the night and be okay because you can see a little bit. Some things happen differently during a full moon, as you would expect with a full moon, but you can walk around in a full moon without a torch. This is not a full moon. There is no moon. So we need a light source. Now, when I am close to this campfire and I have my log selected in my inventory, I actually get, I'm going to unpause it, the option to push left on the directional pad to add fuel. And that way I can stoke the fire. It'll start to diminish over time. Now, I can also cook this carrot by pushing left near the fire, and you see he just works on it, and we make roasted carrots. And roasted carrots, if I look, I have 110 hunger. If I eat this, you see I got 12 hunger from it, which I believe is more. We can do some science than if we would just eat it raw. So, for example, if I eat this berry raw, I go up to 131, so it gave me like 9. But if I cook the berry, I'm at 131. And we got 143, so we got 12 from cooking it. So 9 raw, 12 cooked. So that's why I kind of like to, at the nighttime, because it's dangerous. If I go outside this area where the light is, and I'm out there for too long away from the light, your character will kind of tell you. They'll be like, it's really dark, I can't see. Yeah, it's so dark. That is your cue, like, you need to get some light right away. Or you're going to die. Now, while we're standing here, I'm going to add some fuel just to make sure that we survive the evening. But we're almost done. The night passes really quickly. We've cooked some food. And I like to just use this moment to see, okay, what can I craft? I'm going to right away craft a trap. Can I make another one? I can. I'm going to make one. So I've got 2 rabbit traps. Now, if I pause the game and look at my inventory, first of all, you see my axe has gone down to 75% durability, and my traps do not stack. They each take a slot on your inventory, and at the beginning of the game, it's not a big deal, but your inventory is going to start rapidly filling up, and we're going to want to be able to store more stuff. It is useful to create a home base area. You don't have to stick to it, and in general, I believe many players like to have multiple home bases around so that you could travel between light points on the map and have safe areas. But I like to have one main base where I, build my science stations, my big crafting stations. If you build your science stations, like for example the first one, the science machine, it allows you to unlock new crafting recipes that require the science machine, and then you get more technology and can build cooler stuff, and you want that at your base. Now the campfire is going to keep going. We don't have to add any more fuel because it's daytime. So we made it through our first day, and now it's time to push select and just look at the map and figure out where we want to go. Now I didn't explore very much because I wasn't able to do as much as normally you would be able to do on a day because I was explaining things and time was passing. But what I recommend that you do is have a torch, be cognizant of your hunger, and explore so that you can find different biomes to help you locate resources that you might be looking for. Now, this area actually that we're at right now is awesome, and I think I'm going to build our base here because it has so many rabbit holes. What I look for with my first base is I like to have it on a road so I can get to it and travel from it quickly as you move faster on the road. And I like it to be in a grassland where there's a whole bunch of rabbit traps so that I can have a food engine. Because a lot of this game is making sure that you're fed and making sure that you have enough resources. You can see that we have wood for fires and grass for crafting all around us, as well as bunnies for food. We don't see a lot of stone right now, unfortunately, but this is a pretty good area for us to start with. And at any time, of course, you could just move your base, build a new base or whatever. You're not beholden to this, but I like to have a little area where I begin to stockpile. So what I'm going to do is take this trap, and I'm going to walk right over top of the rabbit hole, and I'm going to drop the trap down on it. And the same thing with this trap over here. I just stand right on top of the hole and drop it on there. When I first started playing, I thought you needed to be sneaky with these traps. There's no subtlety to it. You just put the trap right on top of the house, and then they pop out, and then they get trapped. And when you come back after a certain amount of time, you'll see the trap wriggling around because there's a bunny inside. We'll be able to take the bunny out, reset the trap, and do what we want with the bunny, which is usually eat it. Now, the traps themselves have durability, but they last for a long time, many catches. And the more of these that we have set up, the more that we can save time. Again, so much of this game is managing your resources, but doing it efficiently. Like if you have to wander around all day to get food, then you don't get to explore. You don't get to do what you want because you're worried about food. But in this case, like if we put bunny traps all around here by this little fire, we know where to go to sleep, or when it's nighttime rather. And we have food ready and waiting for us so that we can just easily bang, 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 get the food, not waste a lot of time, and then maximize our time moving around because we don't have to worry about food as much. Like that problem is solved. And that's usually the first problem that I like to solve. All right, so you need a lot of dry grass to make these traps, but luckily this area has a ton. And man, it has an absolute ton of rabbit holes. Look at this. So I'm going to put another, you heard it ding. I can craft, no, it was dinging for something else, not for that. So I need 2 more pieces of dry grass, as you can see. You see how it says 6 out of 2 sticks. That means it takes 2 sticks and I have 6. And then it takes 6 grass, but I only have 4. So I need a little bit more. Now you can rotate the map by using the bumpers, just like looking at the game map, you can rotate the screen as well, but I usually just keep the screen at the same orientation. Now, here's a flint right here. If we pick this up, this will allow us to craft a pickaxe, which I'm going to do, so that if we find a rock, we can strike it. And wait a minute, speak of the rock, it's right here. Now, I'm going to select my pickaxe and push right to equip it. So you can see he's holding the pickaxe, and I'm going to just hit this rock. And now we get rocks. Rocks, you have to pick this stuff. Flint and niter, and we don't really need that right now, but that's okay. And I'm going to get some more grass. And we're already halfway through. But that's okay. Now I'm going to craft another trap. And I'm going to put it right on top of this hole right here. There we go. So you got to drop it down on top. And now we're looking good. I'm going to get some more grass. And if all else fails, gather the basics. Like if you're not sure what you should be getting, make sure you have a ton of sticks, a ton of grass, a ton of rocks. And that will allow you to craft most of the early game stuff. Go over here. We're getting some carrots. I'm not going to bother eating. Nothing bad is happening to us until our hunger gets down to 0. So I can wait to cook and eat at night, which is what I usually do, because it's pretty dangerous to move around at night. Now that being said, as you get more experience with the game, some players like to just spend the entire first day walking around with a torch, first day and night, mapping out the whole area, looking for all the biomes and things like that. And that's totally cool once you get comfortable. But I think for a new player, it's wise to just kind of slowly expand and not get too far away from your base, not get too far over your skis. Here's a boulder, so we are finding some stone, which is awesome. Grab. If we get enough stone, we can make a fire pit, which you can see right here, which I love because the fireplace just disappears after a use, but the fire pit simply stays in place, and then all you need to do is add fuel to it, just add logs to it. So it's really nice, but it takes 12 stone, which is a lot. Alright, it's getting dark, and we could craft a garland, and I will. So I have 12 flowers, so I'm going to make myself a garland, and I automatically wear it. You see it's on my head. Now this will degrade over time, it's not forever, but it helps you with your sanity a little bit. So it's a nice thing to have. Flint, very good, also early game thing to collect. And you just will get into the habit of this, but I'm going to, push select and look at the map. You can see where I am on the map. The kind of Maxwell's head that's outlined in red is you. And then our base is not marked yet, but when we build a fire pit, I believe it does mark that, which is another reason I like it, so you can easily see where your base is. But right now we can see it because our rabbit traps are on the map, so we know where we need to go to kind of be within the safe place that we're creating for ourselves. And I like to just keep myself within a radius of that so that I know, okay, when it starts to get dark, I can make it back there. If all else fails, I do have a torch. And, maybe some players don't prefer to have a base and just are cool with a torch and everything like that, but I really like it myself. And it becomes even better when we can get some storage chests, because as you can see, look at our inventory. We're almost full up. Now, we don't need everything that we have right now, but it's getting to the point where I wish we had some more space. I'm going to craft a trap, and now we're full. Like, our inventory is completely full. Oh, look at this. We've caught some bunnies. So I'm going to drop this right here. And all three of these are, you can see the bunny traps are down. The stick is down. That means there's a bunny inside. Now, to get bunnies, I'm going to eat this really fast. Bunnies do not stack unless they've been murdered and they are mutton or chunks of meat. So what we need to do is capture the bunny. It'll go into our inventory, and then we will murder them. That's actually what the verb for that action is, and turn them into chunks of meat that we can cook, and then that will stack. So I'll show you right here. You can now it's a little bit wonky. Sometimes maybe it's just a controller thing, but inspect the trap is not what we want to do. We want to check the trap, but sometimes the action doesn't show up, like the interaction. So you have to kind of move around until it says, like, buy this trap. There we go. Check. And then you pick up the bunny, and it goes into your inventory right here, the rabbit. And then you can drop it, inspect it, or murder it. We're going to murder it. And you get this morsel. I was calling it mutton. That's not what bunnies are called. I apologize. Morsel. I was looking for an M meat word. I picked the wrong one. Now, another thing you can do with 2 bunnies or rabbits, if they aren't killed, is you can make earmuffs, which are good for the winter, for keeping you warm. But we have a long time before the winter comes. And yes, the longer you survive, seasons actually change in this game, and temperature becomes an issue. But luckily, early game, we don't have to worry about that at all. And we want to use all of our rabbits, I call them bunnies, just for food. So I'm going to check this and check, and I can't check it because I can't carry more stuff. But if I go right here, I can murder the morsels stack, check, and murder. And now we have 3 morsels to eat, and it's almost nighttime, and I want to craft a campfire, and I will. But I'll wait a couple of seconds there. Now, I don't have enough logs, so I am going to go over here and equip my pickaxe, and I'm going to try to chop down a tree before it becomes pitch black so that we can add some fuel. But you'll notice that... There we go. Get over there. Okay. You'll notice that my hunger is down to 83. So, you know, my little trick of eating a few carrots is not going to sustain us. Which is why we want to build our hunger machine or engine as fast as possible with bunny traps. And we have so many bunny traps here that we could stay here, you know, for a long, long time and be happy, because bunnies happen all year round. Whatever season it is, you will get bunnies and you can eat them. And now that we're next to the fire, I can actually cook this. By the way, you can eat the morsel, okay, raw. If you're in a pinch, I believe you take a sanity hit if you do that. Now I can eat the morsel. Look at this, 81. The morsel gives us 12, which is the same as most other cooked food. So you might say, well, what's the point? Well, right now it's not that spectacular. I'm just going to spend the evening of day 2 cooking these carrots. Right now, it's not impressive what we get from the morsel, except for the fact that they're easy to find. Like the carrots, we're just ranging and praying that we find them. But the bunnies are a known quantity. We know where they will be. But the other thing is, I'm going to add some fuel to this. And I'm going to eat. And I'm going to eat. And hunger is good. The other thing is, once we get some more technology, and I'll show you right here, for survival, well, actually, we have to build a science machine, and then a new category will appear. We can cook in more sophisticated recipes, and the morsels go in that, and then we get even greater benefits. But we have to be there, and we're not there because we don't have what we need yet. But we have now crafted a pickaxe, an axe. We have bunny traps set to slowly create a food engine. We're trying to get that campfire established so that we can really build a base area. And then the science machine is our next goal for helping with our survivability, but we need to find some gold for that. So we've also made a garland. That's the first 2 days of Don't Starve. We are collecting basic resources. We're staying alive. We're being careful in the nighttime. We've got hunger managed with 4 traps. And we are kind of ranging around discussing the map. There's so much to uncover and unpack, and this will be a series. So this guide will be a series where we progressively go further in the game, talk about what we encounter as we encounter it in a kind of like natural way, and just try to survive as long as we can so I can show you some content and help you understand and get into the game. Everyone, I hope you found this to be useful and fun. Thank you so much for watching, and if you are a Don't Starve veteran and you'd like to share tips and tricks for new players or make any corrections on mistakes that I made, that is fantastic. However, I really appreciate your help, but make sure that your tips are given in a way that does not spoil anything for new players and is not like overly advanced or in the weeds. Just think about for people who are just starting out and not overwhelming them with too much granular stuff, but just giving some big picture tips. That would be so awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.